What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 26 of the PSN Party Podcast. I am your host, the Marvel snapping, Destiny playing, force wielding BMG. And oh my God. Sorry, that's me. I do apologize. My YouTube wasn't muted and it just started playing an advert right before the live show. and I am joined by the games reviewing, ghost busting, OG Games ambassador. I'm a Ghostbuster Ash. Good evening, sir.
How's it going?
Not so bad. How are you today?
Yeah, not bad. Nice to be back.
Yes. Back on the old PlayStation stuff after a very, very disappointing PlayStation showcase in a sense, but we won't dwell on the past. The games are coming.
That's all we need to know.
The games are coming. And we are also joined by our very special guest this evening. Sorry if I butcher your name, Ozymandias.
Yeah, thank you.
Close?
Hello, how are you? Yeah, it was pretty close, actually.
Oh, good.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, brilliant to be here. Are you good today, this evening? What
time
is it where you are?
Right now it's 10:30 p.m.
Oh, late. 2 hours ahead of us.
2 hours ahead, yeah.
Oh. Good. Tonight's topics include Bobby Kotick blames outside forces for the bad reputation of Activision. Jeff Keighley says, I didn't kill E3, and much more. But before we get into all that goodness, let's talk about what everyone has been playing. Ozzy, you're our guest. You go first, sir. What have you been playing recently?
Oh boy, I'm going to get shamed for that. Well, lately I've been playing Redfall. I decided to give it a try. I know. Everything you've heard is true, kind of. Game is in a bad state, as you all know. But oddly enough, as I kept playing and I got over the bad frame rate, the weird gameplay, I found myself kind of attracted to the world, and it kept me interesting, and I kept playing. However, today I was able to buy the Diablo 4, and I am absolutely going to delve into that. I can't wait. I've been waiting for that game for a while. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to play that.
Good. Yeah, it's Diablo. Was it yesterday dropped? Yesterday?
Officially today, I think. And if you had pre-ordered the game, it was like 4 days ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, if you bought the deluxe edition, you got early access, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fair play. Oh, that's good. Ash, what have you been playing recently?
Well, I haven't been playing a lot because I've been on holiday last week, so I didn't have my Xbox or my PlayStation. I did take my Evercade handheld and my Switch, so I played a bit of The Companion, which is like an indie game. The review's going up tonight, so you can see it straight after the show. I've been doing a lot of, is it Pokemon Legends Arceus or something like that? I can't remember how it's pronounced, but it's like an RPG spin-off of Pokemon, and that's really good. I put about 8 or 9 hours into that while I was away, playing it handheld on Switch. It's like has the core parts from Pokemon, but it has a lot of like side quests and all that sort of stuff. All the things you'd come to expect in a sort of RPG. So I kind of like it. It's a nice little different take on the sort of style. You're not like facing gym leaders and stuff like that. You're doing quests to help people and that, and you don't like fight Pokemon in the wild as such, like walking through grass. You can just literally throw Pokeballs like mad. It basically asks you to buy loads of Pokeballs and throw at them, which is nice. But then I got back, so off my holiday, I got back at the weekend. I haven't played a huge amount, but I have been playing this. I'm going to share it on the screen for you all to enjoy with me. Don't know why I got it. I just really fancied it. So you can all enjoy the excitement that is the Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh.
Yeah, I just wanted it. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I applied for a review copy and they told me to go fuck myself, basically. And then I got a very good price for it on ENEBA. So if you're interested, check out our link in the description. You can get great deals. I think Red has picked up a copy of Diablo Ultimate for the same price it is as the standard in the UK. And obviously anyone who buys through that link does help us and the channel. But yeah, no, I thought I'd give it a go. Do you know what? It's not the worst. It's not the worst game I've ever played. I have played a lot worse. It isn't great. I like the art style at times. Sometimes it looks good, then sometimes it doesn't. But there are a lot of bugs in it at the moment. Like there was one point, you might see it in this footage. I can't remember if it's in this footage, but later on, there's a section where you have to do a bit of stealthing, and every time it's sort of like if you got caught or you died, it would reset you, and then you'll just auto die again, like it reset you in the wrong place. You'd have to sort of reset a few times, like reload a few times to get it to work. But so far, it's okay for what I paid. Apparently, the narrative is all over the place and stuff like that, but as a Tolkien fan, I'm just enjoying it for what it is, basically. But I'm looking forward to jumping back in on my PS5. I've got a pile of PSVR 2 games I want to play. Now they've added the Beat Saber. I want to pick that up this week and play that. So
great game.
That's probably going to be what I'm on now for the rest of the week. It's just PSVR 2.
Yeah. Getting all that VR goodness in. What the hell have they done to Gollum? Why doesn't he look like the guy out the film?
Well, they don't
got the
have
license.
the rights to the film. It's based on the book, so they can't make it look anything like the films. They have to make it look semi-different. And then also, it's not based on stuff that is actually explained in the books. This is something that is like very briefly mentioned in the books. And I believe they may have expanded on it in one of those like expansion, like the History Middle Earth books and stuff. But the sort of it, from what I can gather, this is for anyone who follows Lord of the Rings. It's where Gollum gets captured by Aragorn and the elves after he's basically gone to Mordor looking for Sauron because Bilbo stole his ring in The Hobbit. And from what I'm up to so far, it's basically Gandalf talking to him, and you're basically playing through his memory as he explains it to Gandalf. So
it's a weird concept.
Yeah, it's a weird one because like literally you put the first mission isn't bad at all. Like the first chapter, it's quite interesting. It's got a little bit of fast pacedness in it. It's quite interesting. Then apparently the next like 5 chapters you're all just in prison in Mordor, and it's like, oh right, that makes no sense. And then at the end, that's the end. So I haven't got that far. I'm literally about an hour and a half into it, but so far it's playable. It's okay. There's nothing bad about it. It's just not great, and it is buggy. So hopefully they fix the bugs. And it doesn't look anything as good as the when they showed it off originally and stuff like that. Looks nowhere near as good as the early sort of trailers and stuff they put out. So they definitely downgraded it. So
it was an anthem.
Even looks worse than the old Mordor games.
It does look worse than them. It doesn't look terrible. Like I wouldn't class this as a AAA game. I'd class this as like a AA game. And if it wasn't $70 or like full price, it wouldn't be that bad. But the fact that they're charging like full price, plus you've then got to pay extra if you want like the Elvish language pack put in. So there's points where the elves will just talk in like English and stuff in this, but if you pay extra,
you have to pay for that.
They actually speak proper Elvish in it, which is a bit dodgy. But
yeah,
I'm giving it a try. I picked up that, and I picked up that Star Trek game. So I'm gonna just give them both a bit of a play.
Star Trek's fun.
around my review videos and stuff. So yeah, I hold judgment at the moment, but so far it's okay if you get it at discount, but it's not gonna blow your mind, and you will have to put up with a few odd bugs and like AI issues and stuff like that, which should get patched out in the future because they have put like we are so sorry that we released this game and it was a bag of crap. One of those ones. Not every studio puts out, apart from Activision now. Fair play for Blizzard for putting out Diablo, and it seems to work compared to like every other game that's come out. So
my question is like, you're going to make a Lord of the Rings game, and everyone wants that, and then you announce Gollum, a Gollum game. Like, who asked for that? Who asked for a Gollum game?
No one wanted a Gollum game. I was just morbidly curious. I own like pretty much every Lord of the Rings game on sort of like every system that I own. But out of all the people you could do a side story of, you wouldn't pick the one that like hides all the time and does nothing.
They should have done one of the wizard, that Gandhi.
Gandhi.
That's who they should have done. They should have done him. That would have been more interesting.
His shorter name.
Apparently, EA were doing a wizard Lord of the Rings game, and then it just never happened. It just sort of disappeared off the face of the earth, and it was like supposed to be like the next big game. It was supposed to be like massive. It was supposed to be like great graphics, and then nothing. So I suppose we're going to have to wait for Amazon's new MMO. That will probably never come out.
Yeah.
They've already cancelled the.
Don't kill my hope.
They've killed the last one, or they've killed one off already. An Amazon Lord of the Rings MMO, but there's already a great Lord of the Rings MMO out. You don't need to play the Amazon one. Just play Lord of the Rings online.
My hope is that there seems to be a lot of potential for the franchise, and there is a lot of money to be made from Lord of the Rings games because everyone loves the series. I mean, it's a really popular series, and I don't know why they. I mean, if they just remade the old, do you remember the old movie-based games, Two Towers? These games, if they remade those, they would make a lot of cash. But just try to make a decent Lord of the Rings game, and it should make them a lot of money. It should be a lot, really popular. So I hope at least Amazon counts on that, and they're going to give it a serious try, and they don't kill it this time.
it's being made by the people that made the whatever their last MMO was, and that was terrible. It was a proper cash grab MMO.
Yeah, the online game.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. The New World or something. We got sent a beta code of that before launch, and I did a stream of it, and it's very generic. And if it's the same team doing it, I don't have a lot of hope. And like I say, I've put like 8 years of like gaming into like Lord of the Rings Online, so I'm quite happy with that MMO. I'd happily just see them release that on modern consoles and up the graphics and stuff, but whether they do or not, I don't know. It's now published by Daybreak as well, who do like DCU Online and stuff. So I hold hope that one day they'll port it to Xbox, because they did mention it in an investor call like a year ago that they wanted to do that, but we've not heard out since. But yeah,
do you get to sleep with a hobbit in your Lord of the Rings game?
You can play a hobbit.
Can you bang a hobbit?
Not really, no. It's not that type of game. You can class yourself as married to another player technically, so you could marry a hobbit.
But you can't consummate the marriage.
No, I don't know.
That would have scored them extra points in the reviews.
Yeah, you're a hobbit, you're wandering around with your big feet, and then you see another hobbit with big feet. There's a bit of a connection there, and boom, you're back.
They need to remaster the EA Two Towers and Return of the King games and sell them as like a bundle. I would buy that. I would pay full £70.
Everyone would
for a remaster, exactly the same game, but just like rock solid frame rate and better graphics. Take my money, because like I've got them on the like OG Xbox, and I had them on PC and GameCube and PS2 and everything. But that'd be a great collection. And also they did like a Final Fantasy like one as well. Bring that back. Let's do it.
My girlfriend loved the Two Towers game. It was I mean, she's not really into gaming, but when she does mention, games that she used to play when she was younger, she keeps mentioning that one. And I had to go and find a used PS4, PS2, sorry, because mine had stopped working for a while, and I bought a used PS2 just to get this game so she can play it. That's how much she loved it, and I bet a lot of people would be really excited to see the games remade or remastered.
Yes. But hey, PlayStation, backwards compatible. Come on, give us it.
Yeah, come on.
I'll play that.
I
I like
wish.
to say I've got them on the original Xbox nowadays because that's just the one I've got most games on. But I hate the original Xbox controller compared to the PS2 controller. It's just not the same. So, but they're so good. There's so many good Lord of the Rings games that have been lost to time now, which is an absolute shame.
I still have that Lord of the Rings game. I can't remember the New Age, I think it was called. Let me check which it was, a turn-based game, and I still have it on my original Xbox, and it still works.
Oh, nice. I like the
The
Battlefront
third age, I
style
think.
game. That was
Yeah,
good.
the third age. Which one?
There was one that was made by the people that made Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
basically Star Wars Battlefront, but Lord of the Rings.
Why do I not know that?
Oh, what was it called now? It was on the 360. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, Conquest.
Conquest. What a game! Everyone
It's the
should get
first
that.
time I'm seeing that. I googled it, by the way. This is
There
the
was
first time I'm seeing
DLC
that.
where you
Ah,
basically
okay.
just played as Sauron and you went into the Shire and you just battered hobbits. That was it. You played as not Sauron, Sauron, not Saruman. You played as Sauron, and you're in the Shire and you just throw in like hobbits all over the place because they're weak and you've got a giant mace. Amazing game.
That's evil.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I've still got to watch the films yet.
How?
Because I never even knew there was films. I knew there were books, but I never knew there were films.
We
That
should
was
do
before.
a watch along with you.
How did you miss it back then?
I never knew. I never knew there were films. I heard of
Under a rock.
the Hobbit.
Seriously, you have to watch them. Find some time, preferably yesterday, and go watch them, all three of them.
But only
Well,
the extended
6 hours
editions.
long, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
6
on a
hours long
marathon.
film.
Four
Oh,
and a half hours each, back to back. You can do it. BMG.
Yeah, if you have
Good
like
day.
16 hours, you'll be good.
When I'm ready
Get a
to
bucket.
end my life or anything like that, then I'll watch them just to make me feel more depressed.
I think you should watch them all back to back for charity.
I think he enjoys the reactions when he tells people that he has never watched any of the films, and especially when he tells them that, you know what, I'm not going to watch them soon just to see you whine more.
They're literally some of the
I got
best
stick for it.
films ever made. Like one of them got like 10 Oscars or something like that.
Yeah, 9, 10, something like
9.
that.
So it's like literally like
I
one
think
of.
it's still the
it's
most
beautiful.
awarded.
Yeah, I think it is as well. I swear to God. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It won 12 Academy Awards.
12.
The last one.
And it's all
4
about
Golden
hobbits
Globes.
just running around with a ring.
It's amazing, mate. You've got to watch it. Got to watch it. Anyone in chat who hasn't watched Lord of the Rings, you've got to watch them. They are on like Amazon and Netflix and stuff, but they never put the extended editions, and it's the extended edition you need to watch because they're just better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, if you ever watch the Hobbit films, watch the extended because they actually make them enjoyable, like really enjoyable compared to the theatrical cut of the Hobbits are so subpar. I mean, at least Lord of the Rings is a great film at the cinema, but once you've watched the director's cut, you can't go back. It's just that
Yeah,
is cinema.
Hobbit is a downgrade after that.
He's Gandhi in
I quite enjoy the Hobbit now, though. I've started to enjoy it since I started watching the director's cuts and stuff, like the extended editions. I find them quite enjoyable. They'll never be as good as Lord of the Rings, but
Exactly, yeah.
I could happily sit and watch them over and over again.
Quite up there.
So, but yeah, we'll get off Lord of the Rings now. But yeah, you've got to watch them, BMG.
Yeah,
Disappoints me that you haven't.
It'll be on my list of things to watch, which is about 1,000 pages long. So I'll put it at the bottom, and it'll slowly make its
Put it
way
at the
up.
top.
In 3
Oof,
years.
no. Yeah, I don't think I've got time to sit and watch a full 10-hour film.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
you do.
No, I don't. I've never played any of the games. I knew of the Mordor ones because that's it. They were done by that Warner Brothers studio. I forgot what they're called now.
Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Can't remember who makes them. I didn't enjoy them that much. I've got them, and I bought like the complete edition with all the DLC. I cannot get into them. I don't know whether it's just because it's so made up, it doesn't make any sense.
Hang on a minute, right? Well,
Yeah,
you've just
yeah.
run really fast.
Yep.
You just made Gollum in his nappy run really fast, and he can run fast. Yeah, that guard just like sped up to you super quick and just grabbed you.
Oh
and
yeah,
punched
don't
you in
even
the head.
explain what you've got to do here. This confused me. Like, I just went down. This guard just grabs me and punches me in the head. There's a lot of that in this game. Like, there's a bit after this where the ring wraiths are starting to come to get you, and it just says use the bad guy's henchman basically. It's like use your heightened senses to find out where you're going, but you can't go anywhere. You've got to get caught in this section. They basically close in on you from all directions. So what's the point in saying use your senses to escape, like when you can't?
God knows. Right, and what have I been playing? My usual
Marvel stuff.
Bit of Marvel Snap as I do. I only play one game a day now. I've cut down to what I've been playing, so just play one game a day. I've been playing obviously me Destiny because Season of the Deep has dropped, so I'm doing my weekly content for that. And other than that, it's been Star Trek Resurgence, the new game that dropped last week, and it's enjoyable. It's not bad. There's definitely a few bugs and things that the characters seem a bit stiff in some scenes, but yeah, it's an enjoyable game. You're literally making decisions from the start, and depending on the decision you make, depends on the way the story plays out with multiple endings. So yeah, it's like a typical Star Trek adventure. Captain seems like a psychopath, but yeah, other than that, to be honest, that's all I've been playing. But I've been busy with work, so it's getting in a little bit here and there. Right, before we get into some topics, let me just give a shout out, to our channel members. So we have Muppet, Fimber, UK Dazarus, Slayer Exclusive Gaming, Darren, Matt Kelly, Web Dave, Wandering Dutch, and Shadow Mull. Thank you very much for being channel members. It helps us keep making great content, bringing more shows and more entertainment to you guys. If you're interested in becoming a member, it is only 99p, and the join button is on the bottom there with the description with YouTube. It gives you exclusive access to videos and polls that we can vote on to see, what next other videos and games we play, what food you want to see Ash eat, because he eats some crazy hot stuff and makes his kids eat him because he's a sadist, and also help us decide on what content you would like to see us do in the future. Right, so thank you all.
There was actually a new members video that went up today as well. I've been sort of catching up, getting all the, because I try and do one video a week. Last couple of weeks with holidays and everything and work, it's been a bit hectic, but as of today, it's up to date. There was 2 added over the weekend, and there was 1 added today. So you've had like a bumper week, and the one today was Chapter 3 of our audiobook, The Milkman Cometh, which is a book we've got, which is about Fabio and his sort of milk mafia. I also put up an Ash Eats video, and then I did a reaction video to the Evercade Showcase the other day as well. So there's tons. I think there's about 17 or 18 exclusive videos at the moment, and a good quantity of them are going to stay exclusive. The only ones that won't are, at the moment, the tier lists. After 3 months, they go public for everyone. But other than that, the rest of them, they stay 100% exclusive. We're going to be doing more like questionnaires on there very, very soon. I want to know what content you want to see. And also, Thimba suggested we do a members video where everyone can ask us questions about what we do and stuff and talk about it and stuff like that. So I'm going to put that up.
Idea.
I'll put that up shortly on the community page for members only. If you've got any questions, anything you want to know, really, like what we do, why we do it, stuff like that, ask them, and I'll put it together in sort of like a video in the next couple of weeks for one of the member videos. So big thank you to everyone who does support us. Like I say, if you can't become a member, that's absolutely fine. But for all you guys that are members, you guys rock. Like I say, it's 99p a month. You get your emotes. We get you get a little badge. You get like your green name, plus all the extra videos and stuff like that. I'm looking at maybe doing a membership section on Discord as well, but I feel like that just, while we've not got a huge amount of members, it's going to be a lonely place for us. But yeah, if we get one more member, we can then get a brand new emote as well, because YouTube limits the amount of emotes we can provide based on how many members you have. And the next one's going to be BMG's head. So you've got my head already. We're going to have BMG's next. Who doesn't want that beautiful face as an emote?
Oh, I can see some weird things being done with that emote. Yes, especially by Muppet. I see you in the chat, Muppet. I see you. Right, let's move on to some topics. Sony under fire for allegedly abusing its dominance in the industry, and this comes from Kyle Adam over at Push Square. Sony has become the target of an antitrust probe by the Romanian Competition Council, which has raised concerns that the firm is abusing its dominant position within the console gaming market. How exactly? According to the RCC, it's because Sony sells video games exclusively through the PlayStation Store and for banning competing distributors from accessing activation codes. Shared on Reset Era, the RCC has published a press release which describes part of the body's issues. Thus, these practices would have reduced the purchasing options for PlayStation-compatible video games, leading to higher prices for video games of this type of console. Another effect of these practices is discouraging of Romanian studios from developing video games compatible with PlayStation. The RCC is apparently quite serious too, informing readers it's already carried out an inspection of Sony's European HQ in order to get to the bottom of the things. This press release states that approximately 1.3 million console video game users and 127 video game development studios would be affected by what they say are Sony's anti-competitive practices. Well, we for a while now, not so much game-wise, but like hardware-wise, Sony have been sort of limiting purchasing for a very long period of time through the direct PlayStation Store. I do agree. I suppose it can reduce competition between, mom and grop shops and like your online retailers. Do you think that the Romanian Council for Competition is right in what they're doing, and should other countries follow suit? Ozzy, come to you first. What do you think? Do you think this is a first step into digging at Sony and making some changes?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I agree with what the regulators say. I don't know about the part where they say that the developers are affected and they won't be so eager to, I guess, make games for PlayStation. I don't see how that works, but I agree when it comes to the customers. I mean, we know that, if I remember correctly, until 2019, PlayStation used to sell keys, the games in a digital form through third-party stores, and then they stopped. I mean, I understand why. They do have the dominant position, and they can control, if they want to, they can control where they distribute these games, and they feel like they can sell them only from their own store and control the price. So it makes sense from their perspective. But if the regulator does apply pressure there and manages to change that, I think it will be good for customers to have more options, more purchasing options. It will affect the prices, as we can all agree, I think. And yeah, generally, I think it might be a good thing. Other platforms do that. I think, yeah, Xbox and PC, you can find keys from other websites that sell them. Of course, there are some that illegitimate, and there are some, I think so, there are some legitimate ones. Yeah, I think it will be a good thing if it happens.
Yeah, it's like in the UK. I think it was a couple of years ago. Now PlayStation pulled all digital games. You can't buy a digital game. Like our main game retailer is called Game, and you can't buy digital games anymore for PlayStation. You can only buy wallet. The top up your PlayStation wallet and put money in an account. It's the only way you can actually do it now. Can't buy digital games, so it's taken that source of revenue away. And I think we're starting to see more games, especially indie games. And I think Alan Wake's probably one of the, I would say, AAA game that's doing it. That's digital only, so you can't buy the game physically, which is also taking sales away from physical retailers, which but whereas Xbox, you can still get digital games, digital content, as well as Microsoft money, to top up your wallet as well. So it's I think it's about time they start doing something and putting pressure on to try and make changes and stop them just having to go directly to them and still paying the same prices, and slowly running physical businesses and other online businesses out of business, I would say. Ash, what about yourself? What do you think?
Yeah, it's always a good thing. I definitely think they need to be more like other companies. Like Ozzy said, though, there are like two sides to it. Like with Xbox, you can get your codes elsewhere and stuff like that, but there are people abusing that system, hence why they've locked down the Argentinian store and stuff like that recently. But PlayStation's a weird one. You can't get games anywhere online. You just have to buy, like you say, you've got to buy the points codes, don't you? Basically, the credit to buy digital, or just stick your credit card on. That's the only way to get a discount, and even then, you don't get much. You might save like £1 for every 50 quid you of credit you buy as such. But it's very much like Apple. They're going through something similar with their store, so hopefully there's more sort of options in the future. I don't think anything will come of it unless they're forced, though.
Yeah. I don't know what's sort of how well PlayStation does in Romania, but the fact it's about time a governing body's actually taken a stand against it, because like I say, Apple, they it's other companies that are taking them to court. It's not the government stepping in. Whereas like PlayStation have been doing this sort of same practice for a long time, dictating the market, so to speak, and they've not had to, no one's batted an eyelid at them. This is kind of the first time that something's actually been said, which is it'll be interesting to see what happens. Right, let's move on. Activision boss Bobby Kotick blames outside forces for firm's poor reputation. This comes from Sammy Barker again at Push Square. Bobby Kotick, the boss at the Battle video game publisher Activision Blizzard, has told Variety that there has never been a systemic issue with harassment at the organization, despite being targeted by the state of California for its alleged frat boy culture. In the aftermath of the allegations, numerous sexual harassment lawsuits were filed against the firm, and ironically, in the hours following the specific interview, a new report noted there has been 114 harassment, discrimination, or retaliation complaints filed by employees in the last year alone. Oof. We've had every possible form of investigation done, Kotick said, and we did not have a systemic issue with harassment ever. We didn't have any of what were mischaracterizations reports in the media, but what we did have was a very aggressive labor movement working hard to try and destabilize the company. Kotick went on to blame outside forces for his company's poor reputation. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if any of what you read in the inflammatory narrative was truthful. The executive then went on to claim that he's not anti-union. I'm not like other CEOs, well, we know that's for sure, that are anti-union. I'm the only Fortune 500 CEO who's a member of a union. If we have employees who want to want a union to represent them, and they believe that the union is going to be able to provide them with opportunities and enhancements to their work experience, I'm all for it. I have a mother who was a teacher. I have no aversion to a union. What I do have an aversion to is a union that doesn't play by the rules. Kotick also touched upon the personal criticisms he's received and said there were anti-Semitic undertones. The hatred has turned into a lot of anti-Semitism. When you look at images of me on the internet, hence our thumbnail today's show, there are these anti-Semitic undertones. My kids have gotten death threats. Well, you've heard it from the boss himself. It's nothing to do with Kotick. It's everyone else, and he's all for unions. If it helps him get better opportunities, he's all for that because his mum was a teacher in a union. So
he loves his grandmother.
He does. He does. Ozzy, do you believe Kotick? Has he got your sympathy? Do you even feel bad for thinking he was a bad guy?
Sorry, I was looking for a tissue. No, I'm not buying that. I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. I think he's most likely a bad guy. I don't know if he actually believes half the stuff he says about unions and stuff. But I'm really not buying the whole we did everything we could, we investigated in every way we could, and we didn't find any systemic frat boy mentality or whatever. There are way too many accusations and complaints, and we've even heard of people taking their own lives because of what happened with harassment in Activision. Sadly, and I don't think. I mean, it sounds way too serious to be, just some isolated cases. There are way too many isolated cases for that. Yeah.
Well, 114, literally in the
just
new
for
report
1
just
year
came out. Yeah, and that was the year just
and
gone.
that's now
114. But it's like with unions. Activision Blizzard, they all got a pay rise, but if you were in a union, because pay had to be negotiated, none of them got a pay rise. They all got excluded from it. And then they went to all these people that were in the union. I can't remember the name of the studio that was in a union, and they went and split up all the members into different studios so they could work opposite shifts and things like that. So they couldn't, unionize together. Organize, yeah, and plan. So it's like, it's like lying through his teeth that, oh, I'm all for unions. Yeah, I'm all for unions, but
What more
you have to
evidence do
do
you
what I
need?
say. Yeah, you have to do what I say and play by my rules, and it's
You just won't get paid, man. You
yeah.
won't get a raise, but I support you.
And he never addressed the whole threatening to murder his old secretary.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a word of that.
Also, one reason why I think the potential merger with Microsoft is a good thing, and I think it's um, often overlooked, is that there is a good chance that it will improve the lives of those developers. Most people really, tend to focus on the games, on the console wars. Even, we're going to have Activision, we're going to have Blizzard, Game Pass, stuff like that. But when it comes to people's lives, I think it's important that there's a good chance that because we know that Microsoft has a good culture when it comes to their employees. At least that's my idea of it. So if it helps those people, and fortunately, hopefully, we see Bobby Kotick, being fired, I think that's a plus. Of course, he's going to get a lot of money, but I mean, he's already rich. Um, I don't know if it's going to make a big difference, but it might make a big difference for the employees in Activision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree
yeah,
with you.
no, yeah, you're definitely right there. Ash, what do you think? Do you feel a bit sorry for Bobby? Do you think he's hard done to? He's had a bit of a hard life, and all these
Wouldn't piss
pictures
on him
and
if he
memes
was
of
on
him
fire.
online.
Honestly, like, there's no way, right? I mean, if it was just a one-off accusation, maybe there were nothing there. But you can't say all of like 100 plus. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of smoke there. Do you know what I mean? It's
The fire's following him.
isn't he the one that isn't Activision the one that had the Bill Cosby room and stuff like that as well?
Yes,
So,
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What nice
Paid
people.
for by Bobby.
What a nice place to work. Wasn't Bobby Kotick in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book as well?
It was. Yeah,
So
yeah, it
weird,
was.
that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not
So-
surprised.
Not saying he's a NONCE, but he was well known enough to a well-known NONCE that
If
he's
it
in
walks
his
like a duck.
little black book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy that the fact that he's literally done an interview saying, pretty much putting himself across as this saint who's it's everyone else's fault, but all he's done is be good to his employees, all for unions, I investigated and found
But
nothing
he also
wrong.
hired a union busting lawyer to bust the union as well.
Yeah,
Like those unions that much.
Yeah, and they even fought when I think it was when that first union was trying to merge, and they fought it. They fought against it to try and stop it. And it's just like literally everything he said, he's just lied. And then for a report to come out hours after the interview to say, well, here's 114 harassment complaints of all these different things that have gone on, that Bobby's like, man, I didn't see that. No. Crazy, absolute crazy. Right, let's keep swiftly moving on. E3, fuck body coated. That's it. You're you're an oxygen thief. You don't deserve to walk this earth. Okay?
Oxygen thief.
Yeah, what comes around goes around. I'm sure you'll get what's coming to you eventually. Donald Trump, get on it, my friend. E3 killed itself, not competition from Summer Games Fest, says Jeff Keighley. This comes from Chris Scullion over at VGC. Summer Games Fest host and producer Jeff Keighley has rubbished suggestions that competition from his rival event was partly responsible for the cancellation of this year's E3. Keighley started Summer Games Fest back in 2020 after he split from E3, where he previously held its Coliseum live events. At the time, he cited being uncomfortable with organisers' ESA's plans for E3 in an interview on the latest episode of the VGC podcast, which I have listened to, and it's actually a really, really good show. I highly recommend going listening to it. Sort of gives you an insight of how things work and what have you. It's quite interesting. It's definitely up his own arse, but yeah, it's actually a good show. Keeley was asked how he felt about his reputation in some corners of the internet as the E3 killer. I think E3 sort of killed itself in a way, Keeley replied. I understand why people say Summer Games Fest killed E3, but I think if anything, we created Summer Games Fest and I built Summer Games Fest because I saw the wheels falling off the wagon of E3. As someone who loves that time of year for 2 decades, E3 was part of my life since I was 15 years old, and I went to my first E3 in 1995. I went to every show, I loved it, and it defined my summer. He added, it was so exciting to me, and it was heartbreaking to see that start to fall apart. I think they had a relevancy problem, and that they also had a participation problem over the final years. So yeah, I think the question is, if we didn't do Summer Games Fest, what would happen? I think things would have just kind of really splintered apart this summer. Following week's spec, no, we don't need to read that because it just pretty much says that E3 was cancelled. Yeah, so I sort of agree. Jeff, I wouldn't say he killed E3. I think E3 sort of sealed its own fate with the way they went about things. They lost PlayStation, they lost Nintendo. Xbox was never at E3. It held its own event down the road. It was just broadcast by the E3 channels. And it was more, E3 was more for like journalists and developers and publishers to come together and have behind closed doors things, and that sort of worked. It brought a lot together. And then they decided to invite the public, which I think a lot of media and devs and publishers weren't happy about, because just trying to fit stuff in was near enough impossible. And the fact that they were what they were charging for, like booths and things and show floor space, and if you wanted to hold a live event there, the price was just absolutely extortionate. And PlayStation sort of looked at it and thought it's not cost effective to do it this way. It kind of works better as just doing a pre-recorded show and posting it on our own channels and save probably hundreds of millions in costs. Obviously, Nintendo again followed suit, did the same thing. And Xbox always did their same thing anyway, but obviously they were paying E3 to sort of broadcast it with them as well as they had a presence on the show floor. And I think Phil Spencer, he's actually on the board of E3 anyway, isn't he? So he sort of had a invested interest in being there. But yeah, the writing was on the wall for a while, especially with the pandemic. And the delays in everything anyway, and cancellation of live shows, and everything just kind of went to a digital event, which I think everyone sort of realised kind of worked better because nobody could gather, and everyone had to sort of adjust and change the way they work, how they work, and I think it turns out it was saving them so much money. And E3 just couldn't get back that audience because, yes, Summer Games Fest came along, but Summer Games Fest is different. It's kind of like opening night live for Gamescom. It's Jeff stands on stage, shows a load of trailers, announces some new stuff, and that's it. There's no show floor event. You're not companies, developers aren't having to pay hundreds of millions to have games that are already out pretty much, or demos on the show floor. And I just think it was just the writing was on the wall, and the pandemic just kind of sealed their fate. They did try go that option of, with was it pop read, what it's called, to maybe try and save E3. But again, it's still the same problem. You haven't got the big three anymore. And then the smaller devs are sort of dropping out. We know Yves Guillemot from Ubisoft said, yeah, if E3 goes ahead, we're going to be there. And then before E3 was cancelled, they dropped out. So it's it kind of makes you think what the hell was going on. Clearly, it's just not a relevant show anymore. And I think that's the thing. It's like, think Blockbuster. You went to rent games and films, and then Netflix and Amazon come along, and it's just like you can't compete, because instead of having to go to a shop and pay more money to rent a film, most of it you already part of your subscription. You could just stream from the comfort of your home and not actually have to go anywhere, and they just couldn't compete with that. And it's the same here. E3 just can't compete. And I wouldn't, if anything, I wouldn't say so much Summer Games Fest is the cause of it. I would say the big three are the cause of it, because they do their own live shows. And they did that one year where E3 was allowed to say pretty much advertise for them, so they got a bit of money for that. But again, it just didn't work. It's the most of the audience, more people do Summer Games Fest. Audiences, they'll watch Summer Games Fest and their content, and because we have that 2-hour special, which we'll be going into a bit later, and our sort of scheduling for the live shows. And E3 is just not relevant, and they tried to make some changes. It didn't work, and now E3 is probably never coming back again. It's a shame. It brought a lot of developers together, and saw lots of games behind closed doors. We then big events where all the people's cheering in the rooms when they were showing off new hardware on stage, which was always cool to see. I always liked that when we were getting console reveals and things like that, and you just got to see it revealed on stage. It was awesome to see. I still remember, you'd have to wait until the monthly magazine came out for PlayStation or Xbox to see what was revealed at E3, because we didn't have the media we had now. It was all, you had to wait a month. This is pretty much not pre-internet, but pretty much pre-internet before we are where we are. Ash, come to you first. Do you blame Jeff? Do you think it was sort of E3's own fault for the directions they were trying to go in? And also, what's your best memory of E3?
Do you know what? I absolutely hate Summer Games Fest. I think it's a terrible show. No, I do. It's just fucking advert fest so Jeff can get more money. It's not for gamers. It's literally littered with crap that we don't care about. Just like you all laughed the other day about the PlayStation Showcase having the Gran Turismo trailer. He's going to shove about 6 of them into the Summer Games Fest one. He's going to get the Rock shirtless flogging his fucking energy drink just to advertise a game trailer, because that's what that is. Summer Games Fest is just a marketing ploy. And I miss E3. I think we need something like E3 where fans can go and play things and enjoy things. Yes, we're in this now new digital age where everything's at our fingertips. We can all just download and stream and watch stuff straight up. But there's something about the crowd reaction at E3 on the stage, watching live, hearing everyone cheer or not cheer, like that. The Ridge Racer one, and that one with that giant crab and the flute player. You don't get that anywhere else. But they needed to adapt, and they didn't adapt quickly enough. They did that virtual E3 because we got press on that, and it was awful. It was literally, it was like the worst run E3 I've ever seen. Like, it was so so poor, basically, how it was done. But I'd still like to see it come back. I want to see it in person. I want to see the booths, but they can't run it at such astronomical cost that no one wants to come back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to make it affordable for everyone. Do you know what I mean?
So how would you say they would come back if you say you were planning it? Say you were planning the show. You're in charge, right? You're in charge of E3. You've been asked to plan it and bring E3 back in 2024. How would you do it to bring people to it? Go on.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at my footage. I forgot that.
Yeah, just so watching the X Network. We're in Horizon.
But I don't. They could do it how they did it. It's just it was so expensive for devs and stuff. They need like indie sections and stuff like that. They need to speak to the big three and get them to come back. They'd come back if it was affordable and profitable for them. But I feel like they've like back in the day, you used to go to E3 and they used to have all those private meetings at E3 and deals were done. Nowadays, you don't need that. You don't need the. They've got teams, they've got phones and stuff. They can ring each other up and do deals. Do you know what I mean? All over the world. They don't have to wait for E3 to go and speak to like the head of one company. So I don't know. I would like to see it come back. I'd always wanted to go. I think Summer Games Fest is a poor excuse of a replacement. You say like the big three and everything, they sort of like E3 sort of in recent years sort of held the coattails as such and didn't have the proper shows, but they were like, oh, it's part of E3. That's what Jeff does right now with Summer Games Fest, posting some up the other day. Oh, Capcom Showcase is part of Summer Games Fest. No, it's not. It's on fucking Monday or Tuesday. Summer Games Fest is Thursday. Like, it's not. They're all on the same.
He has claimed all those events.
Yeah, and he has had a detrimental effect to E3. When E3 was on its arse, he didn't offer to help and fix it. He went on his own place and set up his own show. And fair play to him for doing that. But if he's taking so many people to his show, there's going to be even less for E3 to rebuild with. It's just not going to work. So he is to blame in some ways. And I just don't like Summer Games Fest. It's just a big old. Could you imagine watching like the classic E3 shows, and then suddenly halfway through they just stopped and put an advert on for some crap? No,
he has said this year it's wall to wall games.
Yeah, I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
Well, we'll soon find out. We've only got 2 days.
Last year, what did we have? We had like fucking 5 minutes of Kojima plugging his podcast that he doesn't even speak fucking English in.
Jesus,
Did anyone know what that podcast was about? Because I don't.
It was just about him. It was all just him sitting talking about him.
Yeah, today I went for a shit and I had a burger. Today I did that. Honestly, it baffles me. Like, when he kept getting all the special guests on and stuff, and no offence to Jeff, but offence to Jeff, he's very biased. E3, you wouldn't see them be like stupidly heavily biased about who's on the show, when and where. Everyone had their showcase and they had the space they paid for, but like it's very, very, very like they'll absolutely hype up some people's showcases and shows, and then you'll hardly hear anything about the others. It's literally what Jeff likes. Do you know what I mean? So,
Jeff
I saw him hyping up. I swear to God, I saw him hyping up on Twitter today or yesterday that Death Stranding's coming to Apple Mac. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
He made a big song and dance about it. Oh my God, like fucking fireworks. He got on the roof and shouted it to the masses. Death Stranding is on Mac. Like, no one gives a shit. Literally no one gives a shit. The 5 Apple Mac gamers probably do, but the rest of us don't.
Ozzy, what about yourself? Is Jeff right? Is it because just the way E3's practices were going and the way they were doing, did he contribute to them going? And also, if you could you were being given the reins to bring back E3, how would you bring it back?
I agree with what you guys said. I mean, Keeley he definitely contributed to the death of E3, but I can't blame him. I think he's right in what he says. E3 was already falling apart. He just happened to be the right person at that moment. And yeah, he did step over E3's dying body. I mean, you can, I guess, blame him for that, but I guess it's what anyone would do in his place. He had already broken up with E3. He had the connections, and if he didn't do it, someone else would probably fill that void. I mean, it's expected. E3 was going to go down ever since the big three were doing their thing. Uh, it, I don't think they could survive, with the way their latest shows and events were. I don't have much else to to add to that. You guys pretty much covered it. Uh, I don't like. I don't particularly like Killy myself. But yeah, I think what he says is accurate. I don't like
Yeah.
it, but I think it's accurate. I don't know how I would bring back a three. I can't answer you that. But I don't know. I hope, I really wish we could have it back the way it used to be with, all big three platforms announcing games, everyone waiting for that event to see what's coming next. As you guys said, it wasn't so easy as it is today to instantly learn the news. You have to really, wait for other sources. Most of us used to find out through magazines back then. Um, it used to be a celebration for gamers, and it was really, something that defined a lot of people's summers if you were into gaming. Right now, it's not like that. I mean, sadly, like Ghost said, it's a discount E3, what we have right now, Summer Game Fest. It's funny how they're like, I don't know, 7 8 shows, separate shows, and they're under the same umbrella of Summer Game Fest, and it includes Microsoft, while Microsoft is clearly doing their own show. We know, I get why they time it close to Summer Game Fest, because like it or not, it's popular, and that's where, that's what all people are going to wait for during the summer. But they are doing their own show. I mean, they have been, the past few years. Sony has done the same, even though they're not, always during the same time. um, it's funny how they count that as part of Summer Game Fest. That being said, yeah, I can tell you, I don't know how I would manage to, bring back E3, but I just wish it was more like it used to be.
Yeah. It's, we could only hope maybe they can do something. I just don't think it's the getting all the people on the show floors. But yeah, maybe big discounts, doing something. Maybe everyone just pays the same amount into a pot, and then you just bring all people together. There's ways and means that they could actually do it, but I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of a wait and see. We'll see what happens next year. But maybe even if they could work with Jeff, maybe they could do something together. Who knows? But personally, I do think E3 is not coming back. I think it's dead. It's gone.
Maybe someone else can pop up and do the same to Jeff. And they do it more like, all E3. That would be fun.
Well, yeah. Well, you're only as good as you are relevant. It's while he's relevant,
true.
And what he does is attracts, like at Summer Games Fest. We know he's got Xbox games, PlayStation games, Nintendo games, Ubisoft, EA. There's literally, I think it was we spoke about it last week. There's like 80 odd partners, all part of it. So everyone's got something to show at Summer Games Fest. So if it's a game that's already announced or a new announcement, we don't know until we see it. But the fact that they're paying him to do that, he's just going to keep going while it's relevant. It'll keep going. If it becomes irrelevant and something else sort of takes its place, then Jeff will have to adapt, or it'll go and he'll have to move on. But we'll see. We'll see. Right. Let's move on again. Ubisoft Forward trailer teases a mystery game for this month's showcase. This comes from Tom Ivan over at VGC. Ubisoft has revealed fresh details about its upcoming Ubisoft Forward product showcase. A new trailer for the event, which is viewable over on the website. So do go over, give them the click, and check out the trailer. Confirms that it will feature Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and The Crew Motorfest, while also teasing an unannounced title. Skull and Bones Remastered. Here we come. That's what we're getting. On Thursday, it was also announced that Assassin's Creed Nexus VR is coming to the MetaQuest store this year, with the game's full reveal planned for Ubisoft Forward. The live stream will take place on June 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. British Standard Time, Summertime, and 7 p.m. Central Time, with a pre-show starting 15 minutes earlier. It will be broadcast on Ubisoft's official YouTube channel and Twitch channel. Right, so yeah, it's this time of year where we're getting all these things. I'm a bit disappointed if we are literally seeing 4 games and that's it. I was expecting, 45 minutes to an hour of a lot of new Ubisoft games. They've got a lot of things that they're working on at the moment. Obviously, like Avatar, we've seen before. Assassin's Creed Mirage, we've seen a couple of times now, and we saw the bit of gameplay at the summer at the PlayStation Showcase. The Crew Motorfest, that was sort of leaked, so obviously they've added that. But where's the Splinter Cell remaster? How far along's that now? Is there more of that going? X Defiant, the beta of that, quite a successful beta. Where's that coming? When's that actually dropping for everyone? New Watch Dogs game. Watch Dogs Legion did quite well. I've just re-downloaded that to my console to actually play Watch Dogs Legion, but it's one of them. It's on the list to actually get round to. And then you've got probably announced the new Far Cry now for release late next year. Probably it's probably about time now because we got Far Cry 6 last year. We announced last year and it was released earlier this year. Was it earlier this year, Far Cry 6? Was it late last year?
Last year, I think.
Was it late last year? I can't even remember, to be honest. So yeah, they've got a number of IP and a number of things they're working on. Obviously, Skull and Bones, which I don't think anybody is actually interested in. Ozzy, are you looking forward to the Ubisoft Forward? What do you think this unannounced title that they're teasing, what do you think it could be?
I am looking forward to it. I'm interested in quite a few games, mostly Avatar, the Avatar game. It looked pretty good. I have no idea about the new game, to be honest. The footage didn't give any, real hint as to what it could be. Ubisoft does have a lot of projects right now in the works. I like that they are working again with new titles for Assassin's Creed. I can't say I'm a big fan of the rest of their games. I'm not a huge Ubisoft fan, to be honest. I don't know what to assume about the new game. I hope it's not another, one of their multiplayer service games. I don't think that Ubisoft has been particularly successful with those.
Yeah.
I would like to see them, focus more on single player games. It's what I think they do best. I don't know. Do you have any ideas about what it could be?
I just think it's going to be Splinter Cell. I think we got the tease last year for it, and I think they were a little further in development than they were letting on. But I think we may get some gameplay this year but not released till maybe spring next year. I would say. I think then that would have given 4 years to remake it.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
I would say it's about right. Yeah. So I think that's the possibility. I think it's going to be the Splinter Cell.
I hope so.
That's
I can.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was always it was Metal. You were rather a Metal Gear fan or you was a Splinter Cell fan. I always fell on the Metal Gear side of stuff. I did mind Splinter Cell. Whether it's as relevant now, because I know a lot of people, they didn't enjoy Blacklist, but I actually preferred that faster pace, more action than stealth side. I'd liked the way Blacklist was, and I'd sooner want to see the game at more of that pace than just shooting out lights and hiding most of the time.
My favorite games were Chaos Theory at first, and I also enjoyed Blacklist. I really liked Splinter Cell more when it comes to stealth. I think they nailed that. I don't think most people would say that Metal Gear is better there. But overall, I enjoyed Metal Gear a lot more because of the story of the characters. It was a lot more I don't know, fancy. It didn't focus just on the stealth elements. It was a lot bigger than that, and was one of the first games I played on PS1 back there with Metal Gear Solid. I was absolutely hooked, and I'm in love with that franchise, as you can tell from my avatar too. I will tell you what I am hoping for the teased game to be, but I really doubt. And it's one of my favorite IPs by Ubisoft. I hope it's a Rayman game. I really have missed the Rayman, Legends and Origins game. It won't
I've
be.
not played Rayman in years.
Yeah. Those two games were great, and I'm saying that I haven't played the old games of Rayman. I played them for the first time a few years ago when I think it was when Legends came out, Rayman Legends, and I was in love with them. They're great platformers, but I doubt they're going back to that.
Yeah. Shadow Mole brings up a good point. I've completely forgot about that. They're working on a big open world Star Wars game, aren't they? Yeah, we might actually get some in-game engine footage of the new Star Wars game, maybe. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I had forgotten about that, to be honest.
Yeah. They've been quiet for quite a while. I completely forgot about that one. Cheers, Shadow Mole, for bringing that up. Ash, what about yourself? What do you think this mystery game is? I know we're going to be live reacting to the showcase, so I know we're going to be watching it, which we'll chat about at the end of the show. But what do you think this mystery game is, or what would you like to see?
I'm trying to think what they've done recently. Like, what did Ubisoft do that could be coming back? I hope it's just something different that we're not expecting. Haze 2. No one wants that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Haze 2.
We haven't even got
it's going to be some sort of Tom
out.
Clancy game or something like that. It's going to be something really boring that none of us really want. Do you know what I mean? That I just feel like who knows? Do you know what I'd love to see? They were the publisher of it, but I believe, but I don't think they developed it. I think that was Gearbox. I'd love to see a new Brothers in Arms game. They published all of the console ones, and they cancelled number 4. I'm sure they did. And I am sure Randy Pitchford at one point said, and I think this was a couple of years ago, sort of 2021, said they were working on a new one, but whether it's published by Ubisoft again, I couldn't tell you. All I can say is, like I say, they published. I'm sure they published all of the ones on console previously. So I'd be interested in that. Like I say, I'm a big fan of those games. There's loads. Do you know what? They have done a ton of games. I agree. I'd love to see a Rayman come back. I think that'd be great. They've done loads, and they've got a lot of history. They're like Xbox and stuff like that, and same with PlayStation, where they just seem to forget about all of their IPs.
Did they do the Alpha Protocol?
Possibly. Let's have a look. Alpha Protocol. Wasn't that Sega?
Yeah. No, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. So for some reason, I thought it was Ubisoft. Or Ubisoft might have done the Jason Bourne game.
That was it.
Which was good.
They did that. And I enjoyed that. It was a fun
it was a good game.
It wasn't amazing.
No.
But, like, I had fun playing it, definitely. I don't know. I'm not going to get excited for anything that starts with Tom Clancy anymore. It's been done to death. I'm not going to be really excited about most of the things they're doing, unless they're going to show off Prince of Persia. But apparently, that's gone back to the drawing board. And
they've already said that won't be there. Yeah, that's gone back.
I don't know. Like I say, they published a lot, but whether they own the publishing rights, could we see Beyond Good and Evil 2 at last?
Yeah, bloody hell. No, you got no chance. When was that announced? 4 years ago? And we still haven't seen anything since?
I swear, Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been announced for about a bazillion years. Honestly, I'd love to know. I can't remember now.
All right, let's see if we can get a list of their games. So they've done the Assassin's Creed franchise, the Far Cry
Playboy
franchise.
The Mansion 2.
Yeah, Division franchise.
They published Playboy, apparently, in the PAL region. So there you go.
Yeah. Rainbow Six, For Honor, Riders Republic, Immortals Phoenix Rising, the Watch Dogs franchise.
We all want a Splinter Cell, and we're not going to get it. That's it. Like, I would be more than happy though if it was a Brothers in Arms game. Honestly, I feel like it's time for that to come back. There's loads of stuff I'd love to see, but they just don't.
South Park?
No, South Park. There's one being done by THQ. They've announced.
Ah, right, okay, because they did the first two, didn't they?
Yeah, but I'm sure the creators of South Park said they didn't enjoy doing the second one very much with Ubisoft, so they've now gone to THQ for that.
Yeah,
Tenchu, they did Tenchu, didn't they? Ubisoft.
That'd be good.
Oh, jeez, that's
Wheelman 2, but it's just basically Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah,
that's what we want.
Oh, yeah.
More Wheelman. They did Call of Juarez or Juarez. They could do a new one of that, especially with Red Dead Redemption being so popular.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Trackmania, Trials. Oh gee, there's just like I don't know. There's just so many games. They did the Anno series.
They published a lot though. It's like, did they own the rights to the IP or did they just publish it? Do you know what I mean? So, like they used to do a lot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. I'd love to see more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games, but they've been done better recently.
Yeah,
it's just going to be. True. It's either going to be an Assassin's Creed game, a Tom Clancy game, a looter shooter free to play game,
or that's XDefiant.
Yeah, or something like that. Maybe, or it could be a sequel to what do you call it? Their baby's first Assassin's Creed, Immortals Phoenix Rising. It could be a sequel to that.
Maybe. I'm interested in the new Star Wars game. Yeah, I want to see what they're doing Star Wars wise.
I'm getting sick of Star Wars games. Everyone's doing a Star Wars game now. It needs a bit of a break. Like it's like boom, Star Wars, boom, Star Wars.
I can
I'm
say
current-
I trust Ubisoft with a Star Wars game. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know.
Yeah, I think because the team, I can't remember the name of the team that's working on it, but they're quite a good team. It's the team out of all the Ubisoft that you would trust to do it if anyone was going to do a Star Wars game in the Ubisoft family. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm currently reading the audio book in Star Wars Force Unleashed. Which is really good.
Just for knowledge though, Beyond Good and Evil was announced or mentioned in 2008. So it's now
Wow.
broken the record for the longest game in development, like a AAA game, at more than 15 years. It's now surpassed Duke Nukem Forever.
I was just about to say, but it's surpassed Duke Nukem.
So, like, they've not announced it's cancelled, so it's still ongoing. So who knows? But yeah, Duke Nukem Forever came out quicker than that. It's madness. Who knows? They could just.
Who did the Deus Ex games?
I don't know. That's Embracer now.
Yeah,
They own them.
So that was a good franchise. I enjoyed them games.
I think they're making another one, right? I think I remember.
I'm sure they've said that it's one of their priorities is to make a new one. But like I say, I'm not really sure. I don't think this is going to be a long show. I bet it's going to be less like half an hour, like the Capcom one. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching it live. I'm looking forward to watching most of the shows live this next week.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of the Capcom one, I'll just get this one quickly in here. Capcom has officially announced it will host a new showcase on June 12th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. The show will last approximately 36 minutes and will feature some games that aren't suitable for children. So,
and we're not going to get anything new announced because they never do. It's just going to be Street Fighter 6 DLC and Resident Evil 4. Probably remasters, a remasters VR mode.
Yeah, all it says, the tweet says, this is from Capcom USA. Tune in on June 12th, 3 p.m. Pacific time for a Capcom Showcase digital event featuring roughly 36 minutes of news and updates on our latest games. So yeah, it's doesn't mention anything about new releases or anything like that. So I think
going to tease us with a dinosaur, and then it's going to be that shit Exoprimal and not
Dino Crisis.
Not Dino Crisis.
No, you're not getting Dino Crisis.
I've been begging for that.
In the Resident Evil engine, I would pay full price for that. I love Dino Crisis 2.
Yeah,
I love 1 as well.
For years.
2 is amazing. What a good game.
Yeah, you're not getting Dino Crisis.
It's funny because I'm excited about the idea of a new Dino Crisis or remake. I don't know if I'd get it. If they made it with the current engine, I would shit my pants. I was scared to death back then, and I don't know if I would get it right now. I mean, I probably would, but I would be afraid to.
I was looking at the PSVR for Resi 4, and I'm like, I don't need that.
Yeah, fuck that. No,
I tried
I'm not doing that.
I tried the Resident Evil 7 VR. Jesus Christ, I nearly had
a heart attack.
It's horrible. Why people want to play horror games in VR? It's scary.
Yeah, no. I tried Paranormal Activity in VR, and I was absolute terrified. I just know. When the woman chased me, screaming at me down the corridor, and I hid in a cupboard, and I was like, took it off. I was like, nope, that's it. I'm done. Nope, don't.
Yeah,
I love horror films. I love horror films. I just don't like horror games.
You switch it off, and that's it. You don't feel like they're chasing you through house, dear.
No.
I like playing Alien Isolation in VR.
And feeling like the dual sense and the haptic, so it feels like someone's touching your back of your head and shit like that. No, I'm all right, thank you. I'm fine. I don't want to fucking feel abused.
I would just cry. I would just sit there and sob. Get in the fetal position on the couch and just not move. Oh dear. Right, we'll move quick to and then we'll move on to video game 20 questions. Spider-Man 2 dev Insomniac explains why its release date wasn't announced at the PlayStation Showcase. Marvel Spider-Man 2 was the showpiece of the PlayStation Showcase. It came with a long demo, but many also expected a solid date to come with it. Given how it was Sony's biggest holiday game, Insomniac Games has now come out and explained why the studio didn't give a Spider-Man 2 release date during the show. Creative director Brian Inther spoke to the Washington Post about the game and acknowledged the elephant in the room. He noted that Insomniac wanted to be confident that Spider-Man 2 will hit the day the developer announces, which, reading between the lines, means the superhero sequel isn't quite at that point yet. It's really just making sure that we're really confident that when we announce the date, we're going to hit it, said Inther. It's really just about that. What would you say that maybe they're not 100% sure they're going to hit this year? They're having issues, or do you think they're just purposely saving it for maybe Summer Games Fest, or maybe they're going to do a state of play in the next month or two and actually announce it then? Ozzy, what do you think?
I think a state of play is possible. I was surprised to not see a release date on, in their showcase. I don't know about you guys, but seeing the footage during the showcase, I did feel like the game needs more time. There were some. It did look good, but it just didn't look quite like what I'd expect from a PS5 only Insomniac game, because we've seen what they can do with games like Ratchet. And to me personally, Spider-Man 2 didn't look quite like that. Maybe it was an old build, of course, but it made me think that maybe the game will be delayed, maybe it will take some more time. I don't know if it will miss this year. I think it might be possible if they haven't announced the date yet. Then again, they might do make a state of play in a month or so and announce the game coming around holidays. I don't know.
Maybe they're just holding it.
Maybe. I had this theory that me and other people that maybe they're holding on for a second showcase, or at least state of play after the Xbox showcase, where they're going to show some first party games that they didn't show already. I don't know. Other people say that they actually weren't ready to show more, and that's why they were absent. I can't tell you. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have, since we don't have any release date yet. I wouldn't be surprised if the game misses this year and goes for next year. But that would mean that Sony probably doesn't have any big, AAA game for this year, which would be weird, knowing Sony.
Yeah. It's not the first time, though, that Sony has gone a year without any first-party games releasing. They have done that before, and it was
It'll
all
be the
third
first time
parties.
this
And
gen, I think.
yeah, first time this gen, but it's not
Yeah.
unprecedented that they haven't done it before, and they've released. It's just like third-party exclusives, second-party exclusives, and
If you
gone
remember
without.
with the PS4, they had like the first 2 years, they didn't really have any big, AAA game.
No, they
If
didn't.
you think about their banger games, they all came the last like 3 years of the gen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're correct. But also, it's like, because I know Jeff Grubb and Tom Henderson. Tom Henderson's usually he's always on point. I don't think he's ever not been on point yet. But he was actually came out surprised because he's like he couldn't understand. He knew that there was stuff that was set for the show that then ended up being pulled, and he doesn't understand why it was pulled. So, maybe again, is it a possibility they're going to host the second show? I'm thinking about it more. I don't think if there's going to be a second showcase, I don't think it would be this year. I think it would be, maybe February time next year after the holidays and show everyone what's in store for 2024. Personally,
Why would they even do a second? It doesn't make sense.
no, that's what I mean. They won't do if they're going to do something to show more first party stuff. It'd be something they would do next year, early next year.
Surely they would
not
have
again
shown
this
it there.
year.
If they had it, they would have shown it. Like, there's no reason to hold off. It makes zero
Doesn't.
sense.
Yeah,
unless they're saving some big announcements for the Keeleys, which could be a possibility. But normally, the stuff they announce at Keeleys is like, it'd probably be Death Stranding 2. I bet you Death Stranding 2 is at the Keeleys this week.
Most likely.
yeah,
His best
yeah.
buddies with Kojima.
While he's noshing off Kojima.
Yeah. However,
Double.
I don't see why they would cannibalize their own soul and not so first-party games just to feed Jeff. So it doesn't make sense to me. I will say though that if they actually don't have a second showcase, it's really weird because right now we have no idea what is next for PlayStation when it comes to first party. I mean, we can guess about Ghost of Tsushima 2, maybe a new God of War, but right now you don't know what to expect from next year, and it's really weird for Sony. I know that they can take their time to announce games, but if they don't have anything else for this year, you're going to go into 2024 totally blind about what's coming.
Yeah,
I think they're going through a bit of a change at PlayStation with all these things being cancelled and Bungie looking at all these live service games. I think it's not going to plan.
Yeah,
as such. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm actually thinking Spider-Man's going to be delayed. I don't think it's going to come out this year now.
They could also be waiting though, just to see what Xbox does. Like, we don't know what Xbox has got planned. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because Aaron Greenberg dropped some tweets. I don't know. There's a lot of people who have been very controversial over it, thinking, you've got to read between the lines. He's actually saying he's not going to temper expectations, but telling you to be open-minded. So that's telling you to temper. There's a lot of different takes on it. And Aaron Greenberg, you go back and look at all his previous tweets. He very much tempers expectations, tells you, whoa, calm down. You need to bring it down a bit because you're going crazy. But he's literally saying, no, go absolutely wild.
They're also on a podcast after it, aren't they?
They are on Giant Bombs.
Before that, I think.
No, it's after the Xbox. That would be about, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 a.m. UK time.
All right, I thought it was before.
They've got to have 4 a.m. British Standard Time, so it's like a few hours after. But if they weren't positive, they were going to have a good showing.
They're coming out swinging. They are going to come out swinging.
I think they're coming out Billy Big Balls. Honestly, I just think they've got to be fair, they haven't got a choice. But
I mean, if you see Aaron Greenberg say, bring a new spare set of underwear with you for the showcase, he doesn't do that usually, like you said. He's the type of guy to say, temper your expectations. When he says that, I don't know.
The hype's for something. The hype for something. I think we're going to get literally the whole next few years. The whole next few years. Well, I tell you something, if they don't show Fable, they are literally hanging themselves. After that,
I don't expect Fable to be out soon, like in the next 6 months, but I'm expecting
to show it.
I'm expecting like in-game footage, like showing off the environments and stuff. It don't have to be like proper.
Give you an idea about the world, the engine.
Yeah, I want to see how good it looks. And I bet it looks amazing because it's the people that do Horizon, and that always looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's curious because it's a different style. You know how Fable has a more fairy tale style. Remember the artwork from the old games, and I'm curious to see, are they going to go for that style on Playground's engine, or are they going to go for a more realistic tone and style? I'm curious.
I think it'll be more realistic, but you never know. I might be wrong. I think it's
I
going
would
to
like
be a
that.
good show.
To be honest, I would like that change.
I'm so excited for all these shows. There's like so much gaming coming. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. But definitely seems like Xbox have hyped themselves about what's coming. So that's good in some ways.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Right, I'll tell you what, we're going to move on to video game 20 questions. And the way this game works for anyone that hasn't played or seen us play before, at the end of every show, we play a game called Video Game 20 Questions. The host has a game, and the panel has 20 questions to guess it. And I can only answer yes or no. The final question has to be the guess of the game. If you guess a game at any point and it's wrong, you automatically lose. You're not allowed to use the internet, Google, or anything like that. You've got to use your gaming knowledge and dive into that mind palace to figure out this game. Chat, do get involved, do help. And
Which you don't normally.
No, but come on, help today, because this one potentially a little bit harder. We'll see. It depends how good the panel's knowledge is. So let the questioning begin.
Was it released on the PS3, Xbox 360 generation onwards?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let me take some notes.
Putting it in the private chat as well.
Yeah.
So we can keep track of it. It's also easy to keep track of how many questions we've asked.
Right, I'm going to start with this question. Is it a first-party game?
Is it a first-party game? No.
Okay.
Was it exclusive to one platform?
Yes.
Exclusive to one platform. Well, it's not first party. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Was it a first-person game?
No.
Not FPS. Right, let's have a think. So, not first party, exclusive to one platform, not FPS, PS3, 360 onwards.
Finbar, you do count as chat as well. Finbar puts, I hope chat helps this time. You are chat as well.
Was it made by an American studio?
No. That's 5.
Did it have a male protagonist?
Yes.
It doesn't help that much. I was hoping for no.
No protagonist. It's first. Was it a third-person game?
Didn't you already ask that? What did you ask?
No, it said, was it a first-person?
FPS, yeah.
A third person, yes.
Third person.
Was it exclusive to PlayStation?
Yes.
Okay,
was it part of a franchise? Like,
yes.
Yeah. How quick we getting through this?
Okay, so we know it's part of a franchise, but what I'm wondering is, does that mean that it had previous games, like it was a sequel, or just part of an established franchise, like say Lord of the Rings? Is it a sequel game?
It is a sequel game, yes. That's 10.
It's a sequel. Male protagonist sequel wasn't exclusive. So when we say exclusive, is it? You're not going to be like, oh, but it's been released on something else since.
No. This is a freebie. It's exclusive. Obviously, it's exclusive to PlayStation. It only came out for this one of the PlayStation. It didn't come out on anything else. It's not backwards compatible or anything like that.
Was
So
it on?
Yeah.
Was it on the PS4?
No.
I think it's on the PS3 then, because I don't.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
It's not on PS4, which makes me think it's a PS3 game, because it was
it's
backwards compatible, and it wouldn't be backwards compatible on PS5.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not backwards compatible.
Exactly.
You can't play it on anything else but this one.
Damn, I can't think of.
You could just ask the console just to if that.
I don't want to waste the points to be fair.
The console? Don't we have that already? I mean,
it's basically PS3. Don't let him.
It's PS3. Yeah, because it's PlayStation. It's on PlayStation. It was that genre, that generation. Male protagonist, part of a franchise, sequel. I honestly can't think of anything right now.
Was it made by a Japanese studio?
Yes.
I
have an idea that it may
too.
be. I don't want to say it. I think it can't be Infamous. It's not a first party. Now, I think just because of the timeline we're on, it could be Metal Gear Solid, but that's just my thinking.
All right, I'm gonna ask for the developer. Was it made by Square Enix?
No.
Okay, it's not Final Fantasy.
Was it made by Konami?
Was it made by Konami? No.
There's my idea right away then.
No, you asked if it was made.
Oh, you
Konami,
dirty bastard! You know what I said.
Okay, so it was published by Konami.
Does Jeff Keighley get an erection by the guy who made this game?
Yes. That's 15.
I honestly think it's Metal Gear Solid 4.
I was gonna say, wait, was 3 on PS2? I can't remember.
Yeah, 3 was PS2.
Yeah, it was PS2.
4 was on PS3, but it never came out to Xbox. It's like the only Metal Gear Solid that I've never seen.
I remember. I think that's it. I mean, we basically know it's Konami and Hideo. Male protagonist, third person, only on PlayStation.
I'll double check. We'll double check. We've got a few points. Was it the fourth in the series, numbered?
Yes.
All right.
I would guess it's Metal Gear Solid 4 then.
Right.
Yes, it is. Metal Gear Solid 4 released in 2008, and it only ever came to the PlayStation 3 because of the that cell thing, whatever you call it. It's a game that has never managed to come off the PS3. It's not backwards compatible. You can't play it on PS4, PS5. You can only play it on a PlayStation 3, and you have to have the physical game.
Yeah,
but it was published by Konami, but it was developed by Kojima Productions.
Don't you think that's the next one to get remade?
That was a trap answer.
You don't think?
No, one will be next. No, because Three's technically the first game. Then it's 5, but 5 doesn't need a remake because it holds up very well. 1 is then is the third game. 2 is would be the fourth game, and 4 would technically be the fifth game, the last one.
It was good though to get a male protagonist.
It's weird how they went about it.
There isn't many second party or third party third person male protagonist games on the PS3. I think there was a Yakuza maybe, but I don't think that's a game you would pick. And I didn't think you'd go for God of War because obviously that's
at first, I think.
first, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought with obviously the Metal Gear news, and I thought Metal Gear 4, it's because it's a bit. Obviously, I wasn't sure how you were going to get on with it, but you did well because it's like one of them stranded games that wasn't first party and exclusive, which
it was actually actually released twice on the PS3. It was in the Metal Gear Solid collection as well, the Legacy collection. But
you still couldn't get it on the PS3. Yeah, still haven't got.
No.
But yeah, the streak continues yet again. Well done, panel. Well done, chat, for the couple of questions. There were some good guesses in there. But yeah, that will do us for tonight's show. But before we go and we do our outros, just to let you know that there is no XBL Party podcast on Thursday, but we will be live streaming, watching along to Summer Games Fest, which is the show goes live at 8 p.m. BST, so we will probably go live about 10-15 minutes before. It's usually about 10 minutes before. There'll be Redders, Ash, myself, and possibly Sentinel if he's feeling better. Hope you get well soon, buddy. And after Summer Games Fest, it is the Xbox showcase on Sunday, which is 6 p.m. BST. UK time.
Actually, there's more before then as well. So,
have you got a list? Let's see.
I have. So,
you do it.
On these, some of these will just be done by me or other people. So, hopefully Wednesday I'll be covering the Guerrilla Collective show. Then, obviously Thursday we've got the Summer Games Fest showcase. I don't think we're going to cover Day of the Devs afterwards because honestly, it's not the most exciting sort of showcase, no offence. However, there is the Devolver Direct at 11 p.m. BST on Thursday, so I'm hoping to stay up and watch that live. It's only a short one normally, but they normally do a whole host of great games.
It's pretty fun, so too.
Yes. Saturday, we should be covering the Wholesome Games Show as well as the Future Games Show, or I will be anyway. Sunday, you've got the Xbox Showcase and Starfield Direct, and possibly the Final Fantasy 16 pre-launch celebration if I can be asked to stay up and watch it. Monday, we've got 6 p.m, we've got the Ubisoft Forward watch-along. Then Tuesday next week is the Xbox Games Showcase Extended. Now, this is on it's on at 6 p.m. BST, so I may cover this and then the PSN show will be on afterwards as normal. And then Wednesday there's a VR showcase, which I'm not definitely going to watch, but I might watch. And there's also the Capcom one on as well. So there's loads. I'm trying to cover as much as possible live, watch-alongs. If I don't do some of them live, I may do them as sort of like reacts later on, and they'll just go up on the channel and stuff like that. But it's going to be a busy week. There's still stuff coming. There's going to be a members video at the weekend. It's already been recorded. I've got review videos coming every day this week, all the way through to next week. I'm working on new tier lists. I've got a tier list going up soon, which is a tier list of the PlayStation Showcase last week, or whenever it was, a week or two ago. Where I rank all the games that were announced at it and stuff like that. There's loads of stuff, and it's going to be a busy week. But keep an eye on social media because honestly, things could change because of availability and stuff like that. But there's going to be loads of content. But the big shows, your Xbox, your Summer Games Fest, Capcom, and Ubisoft are definitely getting covered one way or another by me or someone else or whoever's available. So. Loads of cool stuff. It's going to be mad, hectic on this channel.
So keep an eye out for that. I think we're all there for Summer Games Fest on Thursday. Myself, I won't be able to do the Xbox showcase because I've got work. So, but I think that's you, Ash, Redders, and Sentinel. But yeah, keep an eye on the
Definitely
socials.
Redders and possibly Sentinel. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know he's
Yeah.
not very well Sentinel at the moment, so life and getting well comes before watching video game things on camera.
Yeah.
But if not, it will just be me. I don't mind doing them on my own. I've done them plenty of times. So one way or another, they'll be on this channel and we'll be watching along.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the socials for that. We'll try and let you know as much time as possible in advance. So if you want to join us and watch along with us, you're more than welcome to. Right, Ozzy, you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yes, I'm on Twitter mostly. You can see my handle in the video. It's Ozymandias88 _. That's mostly where I'm active. I don't think you'll find me anywhere else.
Good. And again, thank
a
you
lot for having me. Yeah.
No, thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure having you on. And again, the streak continues thanks to both your combined knowledge with Ash to get the game again. And no doubt we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you. It was great.
As for me and Ash, you can find us here over at XPN. Ash does all the XPN network social side of stuff, so you can obviously catch us on there. And as he said, is it this weekend? There's a members video dropping. Is that Saturday afternoonish?
I don't know exactly what day it'll be. It's just around the weekend it'll go up. But yeah, back to one a week now. Lots of stuff planned. Lots of new videos I've got planned as well, coming very soon to the channel as well for everyone. So just getting around to recording a lot of stuff. I've got some retro devices to review and stuff like that and showcase, but I'm trying to get some footage. So might even do some live streams next week as well. Who knows?
Ooh, yeah. Keep an eye out for that. But other than that, that is it from us over on the PSN, and we will see you for Summer Games Fest on Thursday. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hail Satan.
Beat me to